Welcome back. Remember, after this demonstration, iron in the hat, silent auction, all that stuff. Watch out. You guys roll. Once again, Steve Fontanini.
Okay, so we're going to continue on the project we were on yesterday. So we're going to bring it out here, and we're going to be wire brushing quite a bit more this time. And, Kevin's going to strike and do the stuff, but you can be in charge of the fire. That's nice, huh? Yeah. So we're going to clean up that groove we have in the center. We're a little low in the center, so we need to bring the top and bottom end down to its same level. We kind of ran into some troubles with that hammer last night. I just don't know how to adjust it. It's what the hammer's fine and everything. So we're going to try and do it all by hand. We found what looks like a perfect top tool for setting that down. And then we'll just kind of clean up the main part of that taper on all three sides. And then we're going to start spreading out that top little lump of steel I left up on the top of the taper. And we'll see what we get done today. If I don't get it all done, absolutely. So we're hot enough right now, so let's bring it out and get to work.
Want to do the side?
Nope, it'll come off. It's hot, isn't it?
That's a bummer.
Yep. Oh well. Do a little more up here.
That was a really nice heat.
Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? So let's straighten it out a little bit.
Yep. Hold on. A little bit more in the middle. A little more. Nice. Maybe one hole. There. One right here. We're good.
Okay, so we'll heat up that colder end. So we might, we were going to do a little floral thing yesterday, a couple of leaves and some stems. We might still do that, but I'm also thinking down on the bottom, Matt suggested something wherever he went. Maybe just poke some 4 little holes, a couple groups of 4 square indentations. So I think we'll save that. I want to get going on that top part because that's going to take a bunch of heats probably. So we'll save the whatever ornamentation I end up doing on this area we're working on. We'll do it later.
What was the length of the piece when you started? It was 2.5 by 2.5 by
7.
7? Okay.
I didn't write it down, so don't hold me out for that. There's a guy named Mike Williams who's run a company called W Brand Products for many years. He sold it to a woman. He moved to Livingston, Montana, and took his business with him, and sold it to Susan Craig. Anyway, he used to make these little, probably 1/4 inch wide pieces of 16 gauge that had a curl that would hook over the top of this and go through the eye, and then you ran 2 screws in here. And they're actually pretty handy. Even if this is loose, at least it isn't going to come off and whack somebody in the face. So I've got a few of them, although most of mine come off and whack somebody in the face whenever. So, but one thing somebody just mentioned, it's good to watch everybody and watch them dropping shit and, you know, screwing up and stuff, so that, because everybody's kind of in the same boat, I'm imagining. Maybe you're not. Maybe some of you guys are like magic and never make a mistake. Can you get off of the hole? Yeah. All right, let's flatten it.
Yep. This way? Yep. Can you hit it? Can you hit it here? Yeah. Hit it one more time. Center. One more time. That'll work.
Okay, I want to run a flatter across. Let's try the hammer again and run the flatter across here, and that'll narrow this up a little.
So after the heat?
No, actually, let's wire brush it and do it at this heat. This is pretty close to a good finishing type heat. It's maybe a tad warm, but we'll get it smoother. What's that? Yeah, over at the hammer. All right, let's go. Now let me look at it again. This side, yeah, one at this side up. Not on the diamond, flat up. There you go. What's the matter?
Go ahead. I lowered that limit speed.
We raised it.
Come on in. A little farther. Roll it. Yep. Take a look.
Right here.
Here.
Yep. Right here. Okay, let's go back in the fire and just warm the whole thing up. We're
we'll work the corners by hand. One thing I wanted to reiterate, if I didn't already say it, sharp edges are no good for forging. So whoever owns these, it'd be nice if they had a nice big radius on them, all 4 corners. Usually it's a bigger radius on the front and back edge and a little bit smaller, like 3/8 and a quarter, give or take. But these sharp corners they do nothing but mess with you. Your steel will stick, you can't get it, you can't move it, and it marks it up. Every hammer blow, you're putting 4 marks on it. So with your hammers, and your other tools too, you don't want sharp edges on this hammer either. Everything ought to be rounded off. So I'm just going to work those corners and smooth them out a little bit, try to get rid of some of the marks left from all this stuff. And then we're going to work on that end. And I just came up with another idea. That detail inside could be this, because we've got that round detail on the sides. We could kind of go boom, boom, boom right down the middle of that thing. That I could get done today. I think that's a good idea. Man, if I had a tad smaller, but I don't. I got the same bob punch. I think we're going with this one. I think that's a good idea. I'm thinking this is going to be our detail down the center. So, and design-wise, you can tell me how wrong I am. It's okay. We've got those round punches on the side, so we can just kind of run this kind of a few times down the middle of that thing, kind of tie all 3 sides in, have a little detail down inside there, and get done today by 5 o'clock. I don't know, to tell you the truth. I think I can do it by hand. Part of the problem is with using a power hammer for something like this is it's tapered. So the surface you're driving this into is like that. And when the hammer comes down, it wants to kick it out of there. So if I was doing a piece like this at home, I would make a wedged piece to put on the hammer die so that the top of my work would be parallel to the top die. It's real important to have, something's got to be parallel somewhere. Clifton Ralph always said it's like holding on to the tail of a wild elephant or something. Might be a little bit of an overstatement, but it does hurt when that thing snaps in your hands or tries to hit you in the chin or whatever. Do the best you can. Best you can all the time. Best you can all the time. So I don't have any more buffalo stories to tell you. So I don't know how many of you guys make power hammer tools, but same thing, soft edges. Usually you want a radius on top of the working end, part that the hammer's coming down to. I use, like I was saying yesterday, a lot of sodium hydroxide. This is something, a tool steel of some type. I don't remember what. And I know I just use regular wire feed to weld that on. And I've done some pretty large volume type jobs with this over the years and still holding together. So I don't mind pushing the point of just do it quick and get it done. If it breaks over and over again, then yeah, I'll come back and weld it with something proper.
Do you heat yours up? Do you heat yours up the red before you weld it, or do you don't?
No, if I was going to do something that I would consider important, like welding an anvil face or the horn or something, I would gouge it out, turn it red, and then start welding. And then I usually, on something like that, will post-heat it afterwards. I think the book actually says heat to about 800, but I always get up higher than that. Like they were talking 1,000 degrees yesterday.
Let them do all the little things up and stuff.
I just don't sweat it that much, and I just don't have that much real problems. I think this is H13. This one's S7, and look at that. I mean, that weld's been on there. I did a bunch of Celtic stuff with this thing a lot, and I ground these corners at a little bevel so I can put it up like this and kind of drive it in from here without it shooting out of there. And that's, talk about putting torque in your weld. It's held together a bunch, so. It's good to be cheap. Cheap and lazy, absolutely. They kind of go hand in hand. Especially at Hoback Junction. Oh, don't melt it. I think he melted it. It's melted. Turn the other. Doesn't matter. Just got to get it off where it won't come. Okay. How about this corner? Yeah, this one. Lay that side up. Let's see if we can. This side. Roll it up this side. Let's straighten it.
That's good.
Okay. Let's warm up our blob. Do you need a stand or anything? We just want that thing.
Just the tip.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
It's not going to work too hot. It's too high. So you may able to shoot that off.
Sometimes.
That helps.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost melted it, but we got most of it off of there, so. It's kind of difficult. You got a thick piece down there and a taper pretty small, and it's not the easiest, especially in coal. If gas is a different ball game, but. I got another idea. If I got the right punch for that. How about a big eye punch? I have one that's like 1/2 inch, but of course I don't have it here. That would be pretty good too.
I got it in the
That big.
how big?
1/2 inch. That's pretty big usually.
I ain't got that big.
Yeah, I know I got one. Might be 7/16, but it'd be big enough for this. Oh well, we'll stick with that. I'll quit second guessing. So we're going to start and just flatten it off a couple times under the power hammer. And then we're going to start dragging it probably all 3 directions using this. So we'll be just kind of moving around and working this thing. This is a little bit, like I was talking yesterday, you want your tools to be in proportion to your work, and if you're using a power hammer or a regular anvil, whatever. This is in proportion for something like 3-inch square with a bigger hammer, but we'll get by somehow. So you could easily get by with one that's 1 inch tall and 2 inches long. That'd work real well on a 50-pound little giant or 25, or even a 200-pound hammer would.
You want to clean that first?
Yeah.
You want me to hold this when you're into the power hammer?
Yeah. No, you hold it. Spin it. Okay. Okay, go in from the front, from here. Just go down a little bit on this end. Back that way some. Right there. Okay, now back up. Roll it over. Let it spin for now. Okay, now we're just going to smack it. Yeah, go into that edge. Hook it on that edge. Right there. Okay, good blast. Okay, show them. We did it the wrong way though. We went the wrong way, show them. So it's supposed to be parallel with this face. So we went the wrong way. So we're going to try and save the day somehow. Warm it up like right into there. Yeah, we're just going to twist it and then try to forge the twist out. We got a wrench big enough? Pardon me? Yeah, we could leave it in as a design detail also. But that's okay. We'll just, when we twist it, we'll see if we like it or not. And if we do, we'll leave it. And if we don't, we'll just forge it out.
You should separate another little ball off in that area and just twist that so you got a ball.
Yeah, there's another, another option would be to fuller just all the way around and then heat just the fuller and twist that. You'd never see the twist then. But you've got to get smaller than the square in order for that to be hidden. So then we just got to see what that looks like. If we want that groove around the top, great. Right now, in my head, I'd rather have it go up to square, which means twisting it square and then forging out the twist. So for now, we'll think about it before it comes out of the fire and make an executive decision. So we might want to, generally speaking, I've got a couple of these that I've welded, you know, 1/2 by 1 or whatever 2. So I've got a more, I can do stuff this way. Where that's pretty stout, I might want to put it in this way so I can use my body weight to twist it. Problem with that is it'll bend down and you don't have as much control with this as you do with something with a handle welded to it. So we'll get around it. Well, that's what I was just talking about.
See what the height is?
We definitely want the square part hot, and we might want to dunk the disc. We might be able to just grab the disc after it's dunked. Yeah.
Probably not.
That's everything's too small to grab. If we, you know, if we can grab the disc, this would be a better option.
Are you going to grab
Pardon
the
me?
shaft?
What's that?
Go ahead.
Let's set this nearby. So let me look at,
Did you say no to me or him?
I don't know.
Oh, I asked if it
Oh,
was hot enough.
no, that ain't hot enough for me.
Trying to keep this from getting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, if we try to grab the disc, then it's probably gonna get hot. We dunk it, and if you get some of the square cooled off too, the top part, that's okay, because then that's the way to go, yeah.
We can clamp it in the hammer too.
Right? But I think Kevin just had the right idea. We take the disc, put it in the vise, grab the square, and go. So that's what we're gonna do. So when you're doing anything, as you probably know, kind of get stuff ready so you're not wasting a lot of heat when it comes out of the fire. Since we're wasting time because we made a mistake. At least it's not installation day and we're driving to the job thinking everything's okay. Yeah, beauty. Yeah, come on by when you're ready. All the way down.
Turn it the right way.
Which way is that? I gotta get up higher.
That worked perfect.
Yeah, I think maybe I ate too much. It's pretty good, isn't it? All right, let's warm it back up or let's show it to everybody, get a consensus.
That's the only way you guys get to learn if we show you our mistakes. That looks pretty.
I'm not all that down on it, but let's forge it out of there just so we can
Actually,
see.
that's a nice little twist.
It's just not that bad. We're still forging it out of there.
So where do you want to heat just this
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, exactly.
Same heat it was?
Yep. If for no other reason, just to see if we can make it disappear.
So if you net that down under your the square size and your rotation on it, you're going to upset back in to close that. It's called
If you fuller it, is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
you lower it down so it's round. Make your twist and then drive it back into itself.
I wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think.
Well, just a thought.
Yeah, and just picture the fuller and then the outer edges of the fuller. Maybe I should try to. So if here's our fuller, and whatever, and we twist here, well, the twist is not a concern anymore because that's round going across here. And then if we did upset just this, we were lucky enough to control our heat well enough. say we're hitting from here, this point is going to come down to this point, and so it'll be kind of a big shunt in there. So if it was going to be a bridge or something like that, we wouldn't do it. But you might, you know, if you really had to do all that, you could come in here and fill it up with weld and grind and sand and do all that stuff. But I think we're better off doing what we're doing. Yeah, for me, every day is a learning day.
I make a lot of mistakes. I learn a lot.
Yeah. So we'll go to the hammer.
We want it to tip too, right?
Yeah, I think we want a little heat going up into the base of the disc, just a little, and we'll go right to the hammer. I know you figured that out.
I have no idea.
So we'll see if we can work that out. It'll be kind of cool. If it leaves a little funny detail in there, which it probably will, don't get the idea that it's going completely away, because I don't think so.
But you're gonna brush it though, right?
Yeah, we're going to brush it. Yeah, we'll put it back. Why don't you come in from here? From here, excuse me. Yeah, slip on across there. A little far, right there. No, yep. Let's roll it all the way over. Yep. Yeah, see that down a little? Yep. Let's go straighten it. So if you don't get too close to it, you can't hardly see it.
Other than the tapering, maybe one time it's right here. Other than that looks good.
So let's try this. See if we can hide that twist a little bit more. Put it up on the diamond, any corner. Okay. Show them so they can all take a look.
Put some bead detail in that.
Say it again?
You could put some bead detail like you have going up the side, right in each one of the twists as it goes around. Put like 2 or 3 dots in each one too.
Yeah, or some fleur-de-lis, or
You got a piece of wire.
yeah, it's a barbed wire. So the other option I'm thinking of is to heat this back up, and we've got a little bit, I'll call it a shoulder, it's not exactly a shoulder, but we could make this height difference between this surface and this surface much less, and that would help us get rid of that twist some more. And I think that's the option I would probably go. We'd have to start tapering up in here and just kind of keep bringing it down on all four sides and take a look. We'll gain a little bit of height, maybe not that much, but so that's all okay too. We might even want to start back in this area. So why don't we try that?
You either hide it or you highlight it, one of the two.
What's that?
You either hide it or you highlight it.
Right.
We want to eat here.
Yeah, that's what we want to heat. Yeah, he was saying we either hide it or highlight it, and that's absolutely true. So we're just taking the hard road right now. Maybe normally I would just say, no one will notice. Sandblast it and move on, you know.
Because, you know, my job would have probably been to know what the hell I was supposed to be doing and turning it in the right face to help you.
Yeah, so what Kevin's telling me is the person holding on to the steel isn't totally above the law or out of responsibility. They should have a clue what we're doing and can punch me in the ribs or something, say, hey, wait a minute, don't do anything, because you are working as a team.
So if I would have been more knowledgeable, I would have presented it in the right way into the jobs.
It's okay, it's life in a
I just
big
drove
city.
here not knowing that he was going to be here.
Right. And I tell you what, all that in truth, that woman Martha that worked for me all those years, she would have thrown something heavy at me. We'll taper it out and we'll live with it, whatever it looks like. So, with this larger material too, I had a bunch of 50-pound little giants in my shop over the years, and I made some horse legs out of 3.5-inch round a couple times, couple coffee tables and stuff like that, and had nothing but a 50-pounder and a 4.5-pound hammer to get it done with. So play with, whatever you have, even if it's a 25-pound hammer or no hammer at all. Don't be afraid to beat on this bigger stuff just for fun, or, if you got a good idea, do it. It's more work for sure, and you can have the same hospital room next to me later. But why not? Who gives a shit? Use it up. So my dog just died a couple days ago, and she's been hobbling around for years and didn't care, smiled every day. I'd get her sheep, and she just drag that one leg and still get after him and stuff. She didn't care. We shouldn't either. That's pretty close. Yeah, it's close enough.
Just the same way.
Yep. Just hold, keep hooked on that far corner.
Yep.
Let's take a look. Let's hold it on the anvil. I just want to see. No, pretty bad.
It's not too bad.
So it looks like it's not a bad thing that we're doing. Yeah, we're a little thick right in through here. We can tune that up too. Throw a heat in here and we'll just kind of blend it into everything. And we can knock these corners back up in here a little more, and we're gonna be close enough.
You want to knock the corners now?
Sure. Now let's wait till we get this area thinned out. And it's gonna be taller, so we'll be able to charge more for it. Yeah, we are. Absolutely.
Keep them coming through.
All right. Pardon me? Yeah, that's right. Change orders.
What do you do for change orders? That's a huge issue.
Yeah, after I get done throwing hammers through the sheetrock, like I was trained by Bob Larison, I just charge them more. All the way around, in a really bad mood. So I charge them a lot more. I mean, even more than it's really worth, because it just really upsets me. I meet these people quite often. I meet them months before they even dig in the ground. We make drawings, we're back and forth, and they know what they're doing, and then the staircase is built. It's usually when I don't go measure or anything till the staircase or whatever. The area that my stuff's going, I wait till it exists, and I go measure, and so when I come back and I start building, if he calls, I get out there. This has happened a few times where they changed it after I measured. I get pretty pissy with that, and usually the contractor's falling down. We'll fix it. They'll do whatever they have to. If it goes the other way, and I've got things built, and they call me, well, we had to change this and that. Where are you at? And I say, well, this is where I'm at. Oh shit, So then I just charge the hell out of them and cut it apart or whatever I got to do. The first time that happened to me, we were working. They called it a spiral. If you saw any of my slides last night, there was one in there, and I was talking about it was kind of a spiral staircase, but it was actually 2 straight runs with 2 radiuses in between. That one, that top tread, they raised the top tread 3/8 of an inch. So, and we were setting our balusters, the main posts, on the top of the balusters and on the top of the treads and lagging them down. Pretty normal. So we get in there and we're working our way up and lagging everything because we had high confidence, and we put that last panel in, and it's like, what the heck? The last baluster, instead of being plumb, is like this, and I'm like getting the tape out, and of course I think it's my fault somehow, or somebody who works for me or whatever. Which, if it's one of my people's mistake, it's my mistake. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, turns out, then we started remeasuring everything, and I get the supervisor, foreman, contractor, whatever. I had them all there, and the owner. Like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, we'll fix it. They dug a big hole in that tread, and they lived with it. So, because it wasn't my fault. And then the owner was standing right there, and he said, well, that's all well and good, Steve, but what's wrong with this post here? He says this, I have a very excellent vertical eye. I'm gonna say, well, I've never been anybody who had an excellent vertical eye before, so let's see what you're talking about. He said, your baluster back here, there was a big 8x8 or 10x10 post, wooden post going up, and our railing just bolted into it. And the gap between the baluster and that post went from the floor like this up towards the sky. And I said, well, I don't see that as mine. And luckily the contractor was there too. And I said, and my guys were there, Martha was there, and I said, Martha, hand me that level. And I put it on our baluster, and it was just dead nuts on. And he got all embarrassed and stuff. And then I put it on that post, and the thing was probably 1.5 inches out of plumb up on top, maybe more even. Contractor was kind of looking for looking for a way out. But it was a spec house, so who cared, right?
How do you fix the vertical line?
Wine. Yeah, right. All right, what are we doing?
I'm gonna clean it first.
Okay.
I'm gonna smooth out the middle.
Oh yeah. Gonna try to blend that in. Right there. Right there. Take a look at it.
We need to, this right here needs to go down.
Okay.
A little bit further down that way. Good, perfect.
Sorry.
That'll work. Good. Is that all you wanted to do?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. Let's set it on the anvil so I can look at it again. And we may have to lower our groove.
Yeah. I mean, this needs to be moved.
Yeah, we'll deal with that when we.
But other than that, other than moving the swell a little bit, it's a little narrow here.
Yeah, and it's crooked. It's going like that.
Yeah.
So let's go back over there right now. So it's bent and all kinds of fun stuff. So come on that way and just hold still for a minute. Now let's take a look. All right, so bad. This right there up. Yep.
Looks like I got a twist in it now.
Right here.
Yep.
So that was something else I wanted to talk about. I'm getting to a point where we're kind of overworking some of this.
Yeah.
And that's
One time.
that's something a lot of people do, overwork. You just keep pounding on it, and you're pounding on it when it's black, and sometimes just back off, which is where I'm at right now, at least in this heat. We've got our groove here is shallow now because we've moved all that material. So we've got to deepen that back up a little bit before we put any kind of detail in there at all. So that'll be our next heat. So, but know when to quit pounding and go have a cigarette or something, you know. Of course, no one smokes anymore, right?
So you want to start setting that back down?
Yep. And we'll do it by hand,
Okay.
so we have a little more
So do you
control.
want to start the higher part, the center, or the back? Or
The top part.
Okay.
So the top part is the shallow part. We're going to start there and work towards the middle. Middle is still a little bit lower. So we'll just try to blend that into the middle and call it good. I saw that. I don't blame you. What's that? It's all right. We're surviving it all. Pop a little bit of this. Just keep my hands out of there. Too many cooks.
break off?
What's that?
Do you have the handles break off a lot when you're working?
Yeah, it's a somewhat regular thing. Not all of them, but you know, if you're paying any attention, like Kevin was yesterday, and he saw it crack, and it cracked behind the weld. Usually it cracks right on that heat zone, right between the two. But Mike was here. Maybe he left already. He welded it up this morning. I've never had one, you know, fly across the shop or anything. Let's warm that up again. One more time. So that's reminding me, I've seen these hammers around here. Seen these hammers around here with little handles about that big. I'm not sure what the point is, how a person can get any work done. I watch those guys draw things out and they're holding their handle like this and it's cut off here and they're just jamming the side of their hammer in there to get it drawn out. And it's usually on really small material. You know, get an adult hammer handle in your hammer. That's how long it should be. Yeah, thanks. Your middle finger should almost touch that big muscle on your thumb. And for years I made pretty round hammer handles, but I think that was a mistake too for me. So I keep them pretty round, but I got two flat sides. You know where you're at all the time. So it's just easier, it's more mechanical. You can grab it back here if you need to. Amazing. Can really hit something.
I got one of those hammers, check design or something, had a little stubby handle. I screwed it in front of my shop.
He screwed his in front on the wall of his shop. Anyway, I bought one of those hammerheads with the handle, and I swore to God that I would use it for 2 weeks. And my elbow started hurting so bad after about 4 days, I barely made it through the first week and took it off of there. So a lot of that, I had a bad elbow for about 2.5 years in a row, couldn't drink coffee, all that stuff, got injected a bunch of times. But I got over it by, about an hour at night. I sat here and found the spot that hurt the most and pushed on it and massaged it until I was crying. And then I froze it till I about got frostbite, and I'd do it again. It took about a month and it went away. I lowered my anvil and went to heavier hammers. And it's the only time I've had it since was when I tried that little tiny hammer handle scene. Pardon me? Yeah, a little heavier. You know, this one's, I don't know what it is, 3.5, 3. That other one I've got around here is 2. A guy in eastern Wyoming, Dave Osmondson made that one. I made this one. I've got a bunch of them. I got 4.5, 5 pounder I've been using for 20 years. It's a big, giant thing, but that girl Martha can swing that thing all day too. So what are we doing now?
We're going to keep setting that pace.
I gotta get a glove. Let's put it under the hammer and straighten it up. You can leave it down, yeah.
Same place. Alright, so you want to do the edges?
Yeah, well, let's do them by hand.
Okay.
So this has reminded me where I worked in New Mexico for the first week or 10 days I worked there. All they let me do was straighten bars, 1x2, cold, inch square, all kinds of stuff, whatever it was. I'd cut it to length or whatever length they said, and then straighten them out. And you eyeball and flop them around end to end, eyeball that, and straighten them out. And you should all be doing that every day. It's really good for your eye, so you can see all kinds of other stuff, but it's important to straighten your stuff out. Part of forging efficiency is you come out here and you forge away like crazy, and whatever it is you're making, tune it up, get it straight. After you're done forging, just straighten it out a little bit, then put it back in. Put it back in the fire the way you're going to take it out, so you can just walk over here and start hammering on it, instead of coming over here and going, like I do all the time, what are we doing? And then you're moving it around. Meanwhile, things getting colder and colder. So as long as you get that and keep those forging efficiency practices kind of going. Straightening your work right before you put it back in. It's really great. Okay. Close, relatively straight. Okay, so I think I don't mind the depth of that. I'm wondering if we should go back to this or if we should put our detail in there. Let's go back to this. So we're going to move that around some more. We're going to spread it out. And then I think at some point we're going to bring it up here and hit the edges and try and get whatever our outside shape's really going to want to look like. I'm hoping for as elliptical as I can do. Yeah, elliptical, oval.
Just clean.
Yeah, as clean as we can. So we want a wire brush. Yeah, I want to run a crease in here. Here's where I'm kind of going with this. That's what Kevin and I are talking about. We want this thing to be pretty smooth, so we're going to be wire brushing before we do anything to it. And I'm going to pack it back in so we've got a fairly square corner all the way around it, and just kind of clean as possible. And it's not so great an ellipse, but I want to run a crease like that, and then we'll do our best to put an anvil on here. I won't go into the, rat hole forge detail or anything, but probably should put lights on there. Buy one here. So, and then that transition from the taper to the disc, just got to play that by ear. Sometimes I would just file it or sand it, depending on how it looks. We might be able to just kind of forge it in with a hand hammer just so it goes in real nice. On the other hand, we'll see what it looks like. I don't mind having a shelf there or a shoulder, which we might even take a chisel and bump it back a little bit and actually make it kind of a nice shoulder. Of course, that means I'll have to have a tool for that. Which I might have one in there. So you ready? Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What am I doing? Oh, of course. No, you stand over here. So we're just kind of going for even.
Yeah.
Not really.
Pull it from the other, flip it, pull it. Put it.
I kind of want to bring some this way.
All right.
Go that way a little. Good. Now let's roll it and see if we can smooth it a little. Is it pretty even to you?
A lot of mass over here, but once we move the whole thing over,
Okay.
so if we could maybe with that fan it. Yeah, turn it,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, start deeper over there. There you go. Just flatten it real quick. Here you go.
Can I whack it once?
Pull it from this direction over here.
Let's warm it up, whatever we do. Let's take a look at it on the anvil and then we'll decide what to do. So let's put our heat, we're a little bit like this, and I think we can just knock it over.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to take one heat. After we do that, we'll take a heat and we'll just kind of pack all these edges back in to get a little less of an irregular edge. And then we'll see where we need to stretch more material.
So you're talking about heating this and then moving this and then reheating it and then...
Yeah, and then packing, and we'll stand it up on edge. And
Yeah.
so it's moving. We're 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe a tad more. Probably some areas a tad less. So I don't know how consistently thick we're going to end up. I don't really care. I'm more interested that we're centered up like this, and it's a decent looking oval shape.
So we're going to go about an inch below the net.
With heat, yeah, sure. So the other thing, I know a lot of you guys have read stuff from the old blacksmiths back in the early 1900s and stuff, and I have also a few things. And they used to, a lot of times, I have a little magazine, I think it's the Blacksmith and Wheelwright magazine, and they would have contests over who could do this or that and mail them in and stuff like that. But a lot of what they used to really like to do is make fairly complicated things out of one piece of material. So one of the things I remember in this particular magazine is they started with, and I won't have the details correct, but like a round bar, solid round bar about this long, and then they would just start cutting into it. And if you know what a bar shoe is on a horse, it just looks like an egg almost. It's just all one piece. They would keep cutting and cutting, and then they would end up with 3 bar shoes all interconnected, and then with the nail holes and the whole thing, and see who did the best with that. So I've always kind of liked making stuff out of one thing. I've gotten a lot of lip service from other people doing metal work. I'd make these, years ago, I'd make these towel bars, and there'd be a horse head on one end, and it'd go back, and it would be all one piece. And, oh, why don't you just weld it on, and blah, 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 blah. You're kind of missing the point, you know. It's kind of fun to do that stuff. Even with all the mistakes. So, in fact, I might want to hold this time to get that thing when it's ready.
Or down the neck.
Yeah, we got to have, and an even heat would be handy. Is that pretty hot? Yeah, I'll find some gloves somewhere. I've got one over here somewhere. That'll work. What's that? No, we're going to go to the anvil this time. Oh, I see. It's all right.
Even heat's easy.
What's that?
Even heat's easy.
Right. Why make it easy? Yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to pull this out and kind of hang that disc over and bend it basically and kind of try to tune it up a little bit. A lot of times, obviously, it's just easier to do it yourself. Let me try that. I know it's a little cold, but that's all right. One more time.
How much, the whole head?
Yep. Don't care much about the shaft. What's that? So I think I'm going to try and bump that shoulder and kind of define it a little bit instead of trying to blend it in. It seems like I'll end up getting a shunt just by folding it over if I try to blend it in. So we need some kind of fuller. I probably don't have. Oh, that'd work. Ooh.
A handled fuller?
Well, I can get by, yeah, that'd be fine, but it'd be nice if it was long and rounded this way and a little bit that way. This something, even though it's kind of shaped funny, but that'll work. Try these two. So both of these have a radius on them. This is kind of rectangular, but it does have a radius both ways. They're both probably wrong. It'd be nice if they were rectangular like this and maybe 3/4 wide. Be really for pounding it in there, but I think I can get it. And then maybe to smooth it up a little bit, come in here with this one and just kind of finish it up a little bit. We'll see. And here, this is really nice right here. This should be just great. Thank you. I like this one. Thank you. And I'll get a little lighter hammer maybe. I'm ready momentarily. Come with me to the hammer. So we want to have him stand where you are. And here's what we're trying to do. If you look at this thing, we got a shoulder on the back and not much one on the front. So I just want to center that up or push the whole back all the way back. So let's do that. Hold it about right there. I'm just going to push it all the way down. That'll give us a shoulder. And we don't need all those fullering tools.
This is the front. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we're going to end up with. And we don't need all those fullering tools to work that. We just offset it. And that's the back. Remember, that's going against the wall. Put someone else's name right there. Just the disc. Say again? Oh. So we are getting close. We're getting close. Still got to figure out what we're doing in there. Oh. This is our, and we'll kind of work on down the middle. Nah, let's finish that up.
That helps them when you talk down a little bit.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely. It is more fun to kind of do some of this stuff if you have an idea and then make changes as you go. And would you hold this time? And we'll go to the anvil with that side up. How's our shape? Yeah, all right. No, we want to do the front. Nah, right now I don't care. Okay.
This is where you use a deer foot,
The what?
a deer hoof that sets that line.
Oh, right. Pretty good. A little bit more. All right, let's warm it up. What do you need? Oh, I see. Here. Thank you. Oh, here's one of those things. 2 screws bent over. Yeah, keeper, right. Yeah. But I don't know why blacksmiths can't use them.
You never put any shoes on a horse.
What's that?
You never put any shoes on a horse.
No, I don't know. I don't even know what a horse is. Pardon me? Horses, those black and white things in the field, right? The Cossacks used to call a paint, you know what a paint horse is? Big white, like a dairy cow. They used to call them a brother of a dairy cow. They didn't like them too well. The Cossacks. Sorry. I'm screwing off. Sorry, Kevin. Ah. Trying to hide some mistakes here. All right, let's heat it up.
Same place?
Yep, heat the whole disc. So when you're going around the corner, that's what this round edge is really for, and it'd be nice, truly, in this particular job, that radius is a bit tight for the width of this, so you can leave some marks, which is what I was trying to get out of there, but they're not bad. Hell, no one will notice them.
What's the groove on that side?
You know, it was just something people used to do with these things. Looks better, I don't know. It tells you which side you're dealing with, although all you have to do is look at it. So I don't know. This is the first one I ever made 30 some years ago. So, and I was showing it yesterday. See, there's a big old crack right in there. It's cracked all the way through and all the way up, and has been since I made it. So I probably made 1,500 horseshoes with this thing, plus all the work in my shop. So keep going. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's H13. So I'm thinking of bumping this edge all the way around, just raising it up. So give it a little bit extra something to look at. Pardon me?
Bumping the edge. Giving it
Upsetting it? Oh,
Just like giving it a level up.
giving it a what?
Give it a quick level up.
So I might use a lighter hammer even than that. I don't need that glove, do I? Yeah, you're doing good. This will probably take, what's that?
I keep grabbing it.
This will probably take a couple of heats, but I'll hurry. I know you're getting bored. Yeah, that's great. So I just bump that edge up a little bit just to give it a little dimension. Is that good? So now the hard part, putting a decent looking anvil in there. Hey Kevin, is he here? You busy?
No, I'm wearing flip-flops, but I'll risk it if you know.
Well, stand back there and just keep this flat on the anvil. See, that's not good. Don't you have glasses? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, warmish. We'll get it done. All right, thank you. Just trying to decide how I'm going to mark this so I can see it when I'm done. I'll just have to lightly chisel it in there, kind of sort of cold. Let me go get a right chisel. There somewhere. Ooh, beautiful. Hold it right like that. I'm going to try and put an anvil on here.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You want to trace it first with a silver pencil?
Well, that's what I was going to try, but it's kind of warm for that.
Get it centered, top
Yeah.
and bottom. But you're going
So
higher.
here's the bottom.
Nice.
What do you think of that?
That'll work.
Nice and flat.
You got 25 minutes left.
Man, we're so close. So this tool is made properly. It's got a radius like this, and it's sharp, fairly sharp. And when I hit down on it, I tilt it away from myself and drag it and keep it in the crease I just did, and then stand it up. Sometimes.
So you just set the lines cold.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just setting where it's going to go. I don't think I could do it hot and close. All right, let's warm it up. Yeah.
You looking for something particular?
Oh, not really. I'm just trying to see. It'd be nice if the outer part that's slanting away was nice and wide, like with a horse, that creaser.
Yeah.
But I can't get around a lot on it.
You can run in that back room real quick, and they got that rack right there inside the door to the left.
Let me see what they got.
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Chasing chisels?
Yeah.
Do you want handled or do you want?
It doesn't matter. The bottom is. Oh, jeez. Flat side, steeply angled side. So more like that.
I mean, but rounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Would be
Should
handy.
be here.
Okay, it probably is. Got everything. You guys got everything here. These are all.
There's not round.
I got one similar to that that actually is round. So maybe I should just. Maybe I'll just go in there with this one, and then switch to that one that I have that's like that because mine's real round.
Okay.
That both directions. I think that's what I'll do.
All right. And so you've got what you need.
I think so.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
That help?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's. I can't do that, and I can't do that. So. No.
beer on the tap. This is like a tap pull. That whole Forge beer.
Or a gasoline station sign.
Yeah.
Can we be done with it? Can we heat this up?
Yeah.
Let's call that. Let's warm this up. I want to see if I can get it wider. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get the crease line wider, at least to the outside. It'd be nice to actually, if we had time, to all the area outside in between the crease line that goes around and on the outside of the anvil line, just push all that stuff down. But I don't think I'm going to have time for that. Oh, that one?
15 minutes.
Go fast. Melt it.
Are you happy with the line? You're set?
Yeah, I want to go deeper and wider if I can.
One more time right now.
Yeah.
You want to rub on your offhand?
Yeah, yeah. What's that? Low orange is good. Yeah, that's plenty. Won't really get much done. Oh yeah.
That would have been perfect.
All burned up.
Dunk your whole hand in the water.
No. And it'll shrink up on my hand and burn the hell out of me.
have much more time on this. Let's get to the center part.
Okay, then we're gonna call that done. How's that sound?
Russia brew. Try and highlight that.
Okay. I'm not sure, let me look at that again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not so sure that's going to look all that, because we don't have room up here.
Right. So you're not so sure about the technique we were going to go with.
Right.
As far as dimpling.
Yeah, not the technique, but actually dimpling it.
Well, what else can that be as far as what you were trying to tie in?
I was just going to put something floral in there, slightly, just a couple of leafy type things that we could rivet in or weld on or something, just to soften the macho-ness of it.
What? Maybe a piece of wood.
Yeah,
Whatever you want to do.
that'd be nice, yeah. What's that? So, have we got any 3/8 round?
3/8 round what, bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want?
We can just put a little leaf on there, put a little scrolly thing and shape it on up. Even 1/4 inch round would be okay.
Yeah.
Sure there is. Just ask them.
Ask who? So we're almost out of time, right?
Yeah.
So let's just bring it up on the anvil. So we're about out of time, and I've been back and forth on what to do in this space right here, and I think I'm going back to more of something to soften it a little bit. So I'm going to get some small diameter round, like 1/4 inch round or something, taper it out, and maybe scroll it up in a circle up here, and just let that run up here. Maybe have one little leaf coming up and off, and that's it. So, and I'll just do that tonight while we're finishing up the group project.
But it still needs to go into the auction.
And it still needs to go into the auction tonight. So we'll get it done. No, I'll get it done. I'll keep going on it right now. So.
But the auction's next.
Right after this? Oh. Well, yeah. So you'll be bidding on what it might be. I'll draw a little picture on here if that'll help anybody. So if we just do something. And then just with a little. That's it.
Which one are you thinking? Might be too
That's
big?
5/16. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Something smaller?
1/4 if you got it.
Okay.
So there we go. I'll keep working on it. Yeah.
Can I crunch it? Is that
Yeah, I think so, because we got at some point we got to cut
Everybody
that.
head to the barn for the silent auction, iron in the hat.
okay? How long do we got, Mike?
What?
10
How long
minutes.
do we got? Can we cut this off?
You got 5 minutes.
We'll dunk it and wire brush it quick and cut the handle off. And, oh.
We need that. We need that to
Yeah.
sign off.